Welcome to Money Moves with Mike. Listen, your school taught you how to square dance, but never taught you how money works. That's not an accident. That's the part nobody wants to say out loud. We spent years learning how to label a mitochondria, but nobody explained why your credit tanks faster than your GPA during senior year. I know I was sleeping a lot. We learned how to memorize dates in history, but not how to make sure our bank accounts have a future. If that sounds insane, that's because it is. Let's talk about why. Here's the truth. If school was actually designed to make you wealthy, the first class would have been How Not to Get Finessed by Interest Rates 101. I promise, that class alone would have saved people from the financial troubles that they're in now. Half the financial mistakes that they're currently in could have been avoided if schools would have taught us that. But instead, they had us dissecting frogs, learning how to square dance, drawing parallelograms. That's going to help us negotiate rent. You know what schools should have taught us? They should have taught students how to build credit, how to budget, how taxes work, how banks make money off of you, how investing early literally gives you a cheat code. But none of that happened. And again, that's not by accident. So let's break it down without the fluff. The modern school system was built in the late 1800s, and it was designed for one mission, one purpose only: to create good workers, not wealthy owners. That's it. Not millionaires, not entrepreneurs, not investors, workers. Here's how the system trained us. If you don't believe me, let me know if this sounds familiar to you. They taught us how to follow directions. They taught us to don't question authority. Raise your hand when you need something or ask for permission. You gotta ask to use the bathroom. Show up on time or you're punished. Sit still for hours. Memorize, repeat, obey, and don't you dare think different. That is all they trained us to do. You think that's a coincidence? That's literally factory behavior. That's assembly line conditioning. I've worked at a factory before. I can literally tell you, you stand in line, you do what you're told, and you go home. But wealth doesn't come from obedience. Wealth comes from creativity, from problem solving, asking questions, taking risks, and breaking habits. Factories didn't need things, they needed workers. So the system built workers. They never prepared you for cash flow, debt traps, student loans that grow like weeds, taxes that hit harder than Mike Tyson in his prime, building a business, building your credit, or even just building your life. School prepared you for none of that. That's why they prepared you, show up, do your task, and clock out. And the wildest part is, most adults don't even notice because they grew up in the system. That's all they saw. That's all they were taught. So when you start speaking about doing more, they look at you. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. When I graduated, I was really good at English. I could write a 5-page essay on Shakespeare, but I didn't realize what my credit score was until I was like 24. I could quote Macbeth, but I didn't know how interest rates worked. I just knew that I was paying for something. I knew how to solve for X, even though I was terrible at math, but I didn't know how to file taxes. I had to use TurboTax. I knew the quadratic formula. I forgot it now, I think. But I did not know compounding could turn $100 into $10,000 over time. I knew random facts about the Boston Tea Party. Mind you, I've never been to Boston, but I couldn't explain a deductible, like how that works on an insurance policy. Right? So what happens? You become an adult, and they just throw you into the wilderness. They throw you into the wild without any financial help. All you have is a diploma and good vibes. Life hits you with rent, utilities, car payments, car problems, credit cards, loans, insurance, fees, literally like everything. Taxes, interest. I could go on and on and on. And you're just standing there like, yo, why didn't anybody tell me about this? Like nobody prepared me for any of this. Because that's exactly how the system is designed. It's designed to keep you stuck. Confused people pay more. Uneducated people get trapped longer. And workers have to stay working. That is the game. But here's the cheat code, right? You can unlearn all of that conditioning. You can shift from the employee mindset to the money mindset. And once you see how money is actually spent, how money actually moves, it'll become impossible to go back to being financially blind. That's why I wrote Money Moves. Not to give you some get rich quick scheme or get rich quick hype, not to throw generic advice at you, but to lay out the fundamentals, the stuff that school did not teach you on purpose to keep you stuck. They didn't teach you, like I said, about credit, cash flow, debt, assets, how banks multiply your money. They didn't teach you any of that. How interest works against you unless you flip the table. If you could flip the game around and make it work for you, they didn't teach you that. That's why I'm here. Nobody handed me this information. I had to go digging for it. I had to want something more. I had to learn this the hard way. And once I learned it, everything changed. My mindset, I'm more positive. My income changed, right? I'm working from home. I'm chilling. My opportunities, my confidence, through the roof. You don't rise financially because you get lucky. You rise because you learn the rules of the game. And then you stop letting the game play you. So, if you're tired of feeling behind, tired of feeling confused, tired of jobs and schools not giving you the real answers to actually succeed, start learning the game for yourself. Grab my book, Money Moves. It's in my bio. I'm actually having a Christmas special. You get all 3 books that I just put out. And listen, on a real note, if you want me to break down your personal situation, credit, debt, income, goals, insurance, whatever you're dealing with, just shoot me a DM saying plan, or just hit me up on any of my social medias, and I'll give you a personalized breakdown. Not some copy and paste stuff, but a real game plan that actually fits your life. I can get you into a 30-minute session, just go over everything really quickly, and we'll get you straight. This is episode 1. We're just getting started. Welcome to the money education that you should have gotten years ago. I'm Mike. See you next time.